Hello everyone. So I'm back with another video, and the theme of this is going to be letting things go and forgiveness. So, over the past, well, best part of a decade now, the best part of, like I say, since 2019, basically since Avengers Endgame. Mind you, we could go even a bit further back, really. We'll call it a full decade because it's been on shaky ground. With what the shenanigans of the sequel trilogy and things. But obviously, for the past decade, we'll just say Disney's just been a mess. And I got to the point, I know with a whole lot of other people, where we'd seen enough. We'd seen enough. And then obviously, as Disney Plus got up and running, we went into that with a lot of goodwill and a lot of excitement and anticipation. And invariably, disappointment after disappointment. I'm the guy who was excited for Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I thought that was going to be great because do you know what? At the time, it didn't occur to me that it would be anything else. Um, wow. Yeah. So basically, the past decade, again, I was trying to be diplomatic, but then obviously, memories of The Last Jedi, you know, and yeah. So the past 10 years, it's not been great. And again, hey, I'm the one, I cannot tell you how excited I was for the, when they've been doing they've been unleashing these live action adaptations of their Disney classics upon us. I was so excited for Mulan because, again, even in my mind, I was just thinking, there's no way they're gonna mess it up because there's just it's there. It should have been so easy for them, but again, I'm that guy as well. In addition to paying the Disney Plus subscription, on top of it, I paid a further £20 for premium access to get Mulan when it first released. Oh, good lord, what an experience that was! Because again, I was planning to watch it with mum. Because again, mum was interested to see what they were going to cook up as well. But I couldn't contain myself. I was thinking, right, I've got a free morning, so I was going to sit down and watch this. And anyway, I'm going in, and my energy levels are up, G'd up, ready to go into it. And I'm sitting there, and the film starts, and it goes on, and it goes on, and just you can just start to see the cracks, and it's like, it's not great, is it? But I was excited when, because like you say, they had Donnie Yen in there, they had Gong Li in there, Jason Scott Lee as well, who I always liked. And again, so, and all, like all the resources you could ever want. Um, but it's, oof. And Jet Li as well. Jet Li was there, but then you watch the film and then you start to think, well, the body was there, but the soul certainly wasn't. And then Donnie Yen is given nothing to do. Um, and poor Gong Li. My wife to be, my Lao Po, she's seen a bit of it, and she's Chinese, you see. She was having absolutely none of it. And then when she saw Gong Li, she's like, "What's Gong Li doing here?" And Yi Fei Liu Yifei. It wasn't her fault. She was just taking the role. I just hope she took the money and ran. Um, yeah, it wasn't great, was it? And then obviously we went to the cinema, suffered through the live action Lion King and all of this. Just basically, all just trying to give us an overview here. But it just seems to be going on and on and on. But what I want to get back on point, this film is about forgiveness. Because, the other day they released that new look at Avengers Doomsday. And I was pleasantly surprised, man. I thought that was really, really effective what they put together there, because the first trailer that released a few weeks ago, good lord, I was having absolutely none of it. It was all just stuff that we'd seen before. You know, the sign for the Xavier School just laid on the ground. Oh, the Xavier School's fallen on hard times. We've seen that before. You know, watching, something blow up in the sky. Seen that before. Something's coming. Yeah, there always is. There always is. Uh, Magneto and Professor X holding hands again. Oh, Days of Future Past all over again. And just all of this stuff. And again, just just nothing original, you know. And Thor, oh god, good god, because Thor does most of the narration for that trailer, doesn't he? That dialogue is terrible, man. It's awful. Um, and it's weird as well when you listen, because it feels as though it's it's different, like chunks of speech bolted together. It feels awkward and yeah. Oh, um, and again, just people have pointed out, it looks as though you've got people just copy and pasted into scenes where they've clearly, and again, characters that we don't care about. Um, I care about John Walker myself. I like Wyatt Russell. I really do. And again, it helps that you just see Kurt whenever you watch him. That helps to no end. But that first trailer, whoa. And then, as you say, that shot, they think it's going to be the money shot where Doom blocks the shot from Thor. It would have been if we hadn't seen it before, like when Hela did it. And again, it's just wash, rinse, and repeat. And just, again, they even retread Cap. Well, Steve Rogers. Or maybe it is just Chris Evans, because people have said, and you know what? I think they've got a point. Doesn't really feel like Cap. But yeah, Summons Mjolnir, yeah, wash, rinse, repeat. We're just recycling the greatest hits, apparently. So that trailer was just nothing for me. But whereas this one actually had something. It had a real great vibe to it. As you say, you have Vanessa Kirby doing the opening narration, really well delivered. That fantastic shot, where we come down and on Doom, and very, very effective shot. That it's very good. Also, we have that shot of him stood by the tapestry portrait of his wife and child. They've used that as one of the posters as well. I like that poster, man. I like that shot. And again, just the whole vibe of it. And again, a great moment from Pedro Pascal, where he's screaming at Doom, answer me, Victor. Did you do? Very good. Because obviously there's a lot of stuff after I give up the ghost. I give up with Star Wars. And I'd given up with Marvel. I mean, I'd been to see a couple of them. I went to see No Way Home. We all did, for Toby and Andrew. And then went to see Deadpool and Wolverine. And that again, these have just been fun popcorn munches. They haven't been great films, but fun popcorn munches. And again, Deadpool and Wolverine. When you brought Wesley back, man. Oh. I'm holding out hope as well. He might show up in either Doomsday or Secret Wars. It'll be one or the other, if feeling pretty confident about that. He hasn't lost his step, man. Just keep him around. And then I went to see Fantastic Four. And again, these were just, middle of the... I can comfortably give them 6 out of 10s. Just fun popcorn munches. And Fantastic Four I wanted to go see, because I'd been rooting for that one. I was, really hoping for something. And it was a cool film. It was fun. Again, no great shakes, but it was fun. They'd created a real cool, novel world of that retro-futuristic stuff. The casting of it, I mean, Vanessa Kirby as Sue Storm is some great casting. But then obviously the whole Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards, I mean, we were all taken aback, but then we were thinking, well, he's in everything else, so. But again, I wasn't sure how to feel, but again, I can honestly give credit where credit's due for that film. He didn't ruin the film, he didn't take it out or take us out of it, you know, so for basically he was a perfectly serviceable, because again, he hasn't done himself any favours, you know, it's just basically all Pedro Pascal all the time, and then even when it's not filmed, he's in the media, so it's just that, how can we miss you if you won't go away, and just basically, you know, just, you don't have to keep talking, Pedro. But credit where credit's due, he is a very, very solid actor. He's a good actor when he turns it on. But as you say, you know, it would be nice not to have him forced down our throats. He doesn't have to be in everything, you know. But again, he's been a perfectly serviceable Reed Richards. And again, I got to give credit where credit's due. You know, he had a really good moment in that latest trailer. But even in the Fantastic Four movie, there was a moment there where he really made me smile at the end. You know, when they get the call to jump into action, and obviously they go into the car and they're trying to sort the baby seat out. It's a fun joke, but there was a moment just made me really, really chuckle at the end, you know, when they get it finished. You know, they've been kind of trying to hold it together and not get too stressed. You know, like when parents, they're trying to keep a level head, but you can feel it's just boiling away. But yeah. But then when they finally get it in, and then Pedro Pascal, he just has this goofy smile as he turns to Vanessa Kirby, just, we're ready to go. And it's fun. It's just, you know, like trying to go into dad mode. You know, it's like, yeah, I've got it handled. We're ready to go. It just that was a nice, fun little moment. But yeah, basically, it's been a miserable decade, Disney. You've made this. It didn't have to be like this, but you insisted. But this is where we are. I think this is an opportunity now, at least as far as the Marvel stuff's going. You can see Kevin Feige. He's obviously, well, you can't keep bleeding money like they've been. So, you know, if it's desperation, we got to acknowledge more than anything else. But yeah, again, I just trying to. We don't want to hate you guys. We don't want to hate what you're putting out. But you've been just very insistent over this past decade. But again, feel as though this is an opportunity. Even again, Doomsday, like you say, best case scenario, it might just be a 6 out of 10. Like with the others, just, you know, it's going to be a spectacle. It's a gimmick movie like No Way Home and Deadpool and Wolverine were. It absolutely is. But again, if it could just be entertaining, popcorn munching, and then, as you say, if you do something really fun, you know, that we can all just enjoy for it sounds as though it's going to be 3 hours. And I tell you what, though, as well, from that new trailer or new look that we got, it really seems as though Robert Downey Jr. has taken this very seriously. You know, because he always played Tony Stark as an extension of his own persona, and it works. It's great. We love it. But it really feels as though he's trying to, you know, dial into Doom in it. It's great. And that moment between him and Thor in this plays a lot better. Thor's line, you know, you'll beg for hell long before I grant it. That one line from Thor in this had so much more impact and was much more effective than all that dialogue that he had in that first trailer. Good God. And then that, what a line from Doom. I think it's a really solid line, that you hell bends to my will, or hell answers to me, for I am Doom. And then that great shot of the Sentinels rising up behind Doom. It's cool, man. It's cool stuff. So again, hey, it's never too late to turn things around. You know, we want to like what you're doing. So I have some hope. Obviously, the leaks are out there, so some of it, you know, um, but we'll see how it goes. But again, I just want to give him a chance. Call me an idiot. Um, but yeah, I want to give him a chance. Again, all we want is for it to be fun. Again, absolutely it can have its flaws. Like recently, the new Spider-Man movie. It's more than its fair share of flaws, but it's a good time at the movies. And again, you don't feel as though you're being bashed over the head with an agenda. Um, Again, the morality's questionable. That's still something you need to sort out. The whole morality of, what Jean Grey does in that movie. We're getting into Wanda from Multiverse of Madness or Carly from Falcon and the Winter Soldier territory here. You need to cut that out. Um, but yeah, honestly, we just let's just use Doomsday as an opportunity to, whew, let's level the boards, let's clear it, and again, there you go. That's one of the things that's been in the leaks apparently. That I can talk. I don't mind talking about it if you don't mind, but that we'll talk. We'll consider this an olive branch on their part. There's going to be a moment in this where Doom mops the floor with Simu Liu. It's like, okay, you know what? I'll take that as an act of good faith. I appreciate that. Thank you. I'll take that. Yeah, you're winning me over, guys. But yeah, I just basically wanted to just make this just a little again. Disney, it's been a frustrating decade. But like you say, it's never too late to change, guys. You know, let's drop all of the agenda and political stuff, and let's just get back to making things that people can enjoy. You know, bring people together. And again, we don't need to hear any grandstanding. Again, that's going to be rough stuff, on the lead up to the release of the film when they're doing the different interviews and press junkets and things. We could be in the red carpet. That could be a bumpy ride because some of them, like Simu Liu, like Pedro Pascal, they can't get out of their own way. Because, like I say, like said of Pedro Pascal, he's a very fine actor when he puts his mind to it. Simu Liu, I wouldn't have cast him as Shang-Chi. This is the character, as Gary always says, and from Nerdrotic, this is supposed to be Marvel's Bruce Lee. There's been a number of actors from mainland China. We had Jackie Chan's film The Shadow's Edge recently. We had that film that he did with John Cena, Hidden Strike. We had the film that he did, it's a bit further back now, Vanguard. But there's a number of younger actors in those films, and that's just from off the top of my head. There's guys in there that you could point to. They'd be a better fit for Shang-Chi. But again, I'll give Simu Liu something. He does a very, very good job of the action choreography. You know what I mean? So, and again, there's probably a way he could play it if he's a guy who just basically, he adopted. I know it's a bit of an overused term now and it's become a bit of a running joke, but a stoic, more of a stoic approach, if you just play. But that fits if it's supposed to be Bruce Lee, because Bruce Lee always played it cool. He was, very, again, spoke very little, but when he did it had impact and purpose. And often he might just stand back and observe, but when it's time to go, oh boy, you better be ready. So there's a way that Simu Liu could do it, but again, he just can't get out of his own way. I mean, granted, obviously, the direction and the material, there's only so much you can do with that, and obviously what we see in the film is only the take that they've chosen. There could be alternative takes that we would regard as better, but obviously it's all at the mercy of what the director and the editor, put together. But Simu Liu doesn't do himself any favours outside. Like in terms of the stuff that he can control himself, you got to help yourself, buddy. You know, it always makes me laugh as well the way the Chinese audience has reacted to him. They were having none of it. But again, it's not too late, because like I say, we could kill him off in this one and get a new Shang-Chi, a more comic accurate Shang-Chi. You know, who doesn't have the... He doesn't need the magical bracelets. He doesn't at all. He's the master of Kung Fu. I always maintain that they had a wonderful opportunity when they did the Shang-Chi movie. Well, to cast it more accurately, yes. But I always had a vision. You know, it should have been a straight-up martial arts film. We didn't need all of the added magical, fantastical element. We didn't at all. You know, I've talked a lot on this channel about doing a true, well, to a point, a true adaptation of Bruce Lee's Game of Death to the extent that you can. You know, we never know obviously what Bruce's definitive vision was going to be for the project, but we could do something that was a lot closer than what was unleashed upon us in 1978. But that would have been an opportunity. Could you imagine if they did a Shang-Chi movie, which is basically just a take on Game of Death? Shang-Chi just fighting his way up a pagoda tower to take down his mob boss father. That would have been awesome, man. But yeah, again, Marvel, you don't have to always overthink things. You can keep things simple. You know, like how you could have done a Blade movie with him just going around killing vampires. See what I mean? But yeah, again, I just want to put enough of the negativity. And on your part, Marvel, Disney as a whole, enough of disappointing us all, alright? Let's use this as a fresh start. We're going to go into Doomsday with a lot of goodwill, open-mindedness. It'll be what it'll be. We just want to enjoy it. That wraps this up. Again, just wanted to get in front of the camera and yammer on for a bit. But yeah, just trying to just give it all a fresh start. Again, this might age terribly. We might get out of Doomsday and I might be thinking, well, more fool me. But again, I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt and I'm going to go in and have a little bit of hope. But again, you might think I'm wrong and you guys might be absolutely right in thinking I'm wrong. But we'll see what happens. Anyway, feel free to share your thoughts. Just been me rambling. Yeah, we're going to give you a chance, Disney. And, hey, we'll see you down the road. And, well, there you go. That's another thing that we can look forward to next year. You're releasing the despecialised version of Star Wars from 77. I'm excited for that. And that's another olive branch act of good faith. Best thing you've done since you bought Lucasfilm. And on that note, guys, we'll see you down the road. Hopefully Doomsday will be fun. We'll check back in later on down the line, see what happens. Best wishes, everybody. Bye-bye.